Hello everyone, this is Alfa Somani, and we have already started chapter number 6, My Own Reflection by Robert Louis Stevenson. It's a poem written by Robert Louis Stevenson. We have completed the vocab part of the poem, and now we will start the explanation part of the poem. But before starting the explanation part, let me explain the assignment which was given to you on the day of completion of vocabulary. So I had given you three meanings and you had to find out the meaning, you had to find out the words which would mean the same. Okay. So a person who likes to sleep is called a sleepyhead. So the answer here is the sleepyhead. Something which is very bright is called shining. Okay, all these words are from poem only. Sleepyhead, shining, coward, these are from poem only. I had given you the meanings and then you had to find the words which would mean these. Third one is a person who is not brave. Person who is not brave is called timid, is called coward. Okay, so these are the three answers of the assignment. And now we will start with the poem. So the poem is My Own Reflection. So what do you understand by a reflection or a shadow? Reflection means किसी की भी परछाई, किसी की भी shadow. आप जैसे बड़े हो तो आपको पता है that your reflection it is because of the light. Okay, you are not so young that you don't understand what a reflection is. You are grown ups. So you know that reflection is there because of the light of the bulb, because of the light of the sun. So the reflection is there because of any source of light. But just imagine if you were a small kid, what would you think that what is that shadow? अगर आप बहुत छोटे बच्चे होते तो आप क्या सोचते कि ये मेरे साथ साथ जो चलती है ये क्या चीज है आपकी जो परछाई है उसके बारे में आप क्या सोचते इफ यू वर सो according to a small kid what is this shadow what is this thing is a shadow ठीक है that is dark ये उसे समझ में आता कि एक ये dark है the shadow is dark its shadow moves with the person so according to a small kid the shadow keeps moving with you जो भी चीज मूव होती है तो उसकी शैडो भी मूव होती है साथ में also its size the size of the shadow it keeps changing throughout the day it keeps changing according to the source of the light जैसे सन कभी और ईस्ट में होता है या वेस्ट में होता है तो उसके हिसाब से उसकी जो शैडो है वो छोटी और बड़ी होती रहती है okay and also it looks just like you right your shadow looks just like you so this these are the points which according to a small kid are about a shadow and also you know the shadow is not there when there is no light shadow comes only when there is a source of light when there is sun when there is tube light when there is bulb then only the shadow comes आपकी परछाई तभी आएगी जब कोई लाइट का सोर्स होगा so all these things are imagined by a small kid कि शायद ये चीज जो मेरे साथ साथ चल रही है वो क्या है ये डार्क कलर की है ये मेरे जैसी दिखती है ये पूरे दिन भर मेरे साथ साथ चलती है और इसकी साइज जो है वो बड़ी छोटी होती रहती है तो इट्स अ स्मॉल किड दिस होल पोएम इज अकॉर्डिंग टू अ स्मॉल किड who does not understand what this shadow is. So shadow looks like you, right? So he thinks that the shadow moves with him. It looks like him. It keeps changing its size and it plays. It plays and it just walks with him. And it disappears when there is no light, when there is no sun. He just knows that. He does not know what this shadow is and how this shadow is formed. उसे ये नहीं पता कि shadow क्यों क्या है और किस तरीके से क्यों बनी है so it is all about this whole poem is all about a child's imagination and curiosity towards the shadow कि ये जो मेरे साथ साथ चल रही है जो चीज चल रही है शैडो चल रही है ये क्या चीज है और ये मेरे साथ साथ क्यों चल रही है एक छोटा बच्चा है वो क्यूरियस होगा कि ये मेरे साथ साथ चलने वाली चीज क्या है और ये मेरे साथ साथ पूरा टाइम क्यों चल रही है An innocent child, एक मासूम बच्चा है, who thinks of his shadow as another person. So एक छोटा बच्चा है, मासूम बच्चा है, he thinks of the shadow as another person. For him, the shadow is another person. He thinks that that shadow is some other person. Okay, वो सोचता है कि वो कोई और person है जो मेरे साथ साथ चलता रहता है. He's an innocent child, he's a small child, he does not understand, and that's why he thinks that his shadow is some other person who keeps walking with him. Also, he explains the qualities of a shadow. That shadow looks like him, shadow is dark, shadow keeps moving with him, it keeps changing his size. So he just, whatever he sees in the shadow, whatever he like sees, that what happens to a shadow, he explains that in a very innocent way. He does not know the science behind the shadow. कि shadow कैसे बनती है, क्यों बनती है. He does not know that. He just gives his views in a very childish way, in a very innocent way. बहुत मासूम सिंपल तरीके से वो बताता है कि ये शैडो क्या हो सकती है और ये क्या है. उसको साइंस नहीं पता कि शैडो कैसे आई है, क्यों आई है. उसको सिर्फ पता है कि एक शैडो है जो उसके साथ साथ चलती रहती है, and some other things as well which we will learn. And he does not understand why the shadow does not appear when there is no light. और उसको ये भी समझ में नहीं आता है कि ये जब लाइट नहीं होती है तो ये शैडो क्यों गायब हो जाती है. Why the shadow disappears when there is no light. So let's start with the poem then. My Own Reflection, and it's a poem by whom? It's a poem by Robert Louis Stevenson. My own reflection. So you know what is a shadow? Shadow आपकी जो होती है वो तब फॉर्म होती है when there is a source of light. आपके पास कोई source of light होगा, कोई बल्ब होगा, कोई ट्यूबलाइट होगी, कोई सन होगा, तो आपकी shadow जो है वो फॉर्म होती है. So that is what a shadow is. But what this shadow is according to a child, that we will learn in this poem. Let's start with the poem. And this kid has beautifully described its qualities and with his imagination. I have a little shadow that goes here and there with me. So, what does the child say? Who is I here? I is the little child, and he is explaining the whole poem. I have a little shadow that goes here and there with me. मेरी एक छोटी सी shadow है, and it keeps on moving with me. मैं जहाँ जाता हूँ वो मेरे साथ जाती है. Here and there means यहाँ वहाँ जाना. And what can be the use of him more than what can be the use of him is more than I can see. Or what can be the use of this shadow that I don't know. It just keeps moving with me. The shadow keeps moving with me. And what else can be the use of it? और इसका और क्या काम हो सकता है that I don't know. इसका बस यही काम है मेरे साथ चलना. So all this is explained by a child. The I here is the small child who is explaining his shadow, who is explaining the behavior of his shadow. He is very, very like me from the heels to the head. Heels to the head means एड़ी से लेके चोटी तक. आपके पैर से लेके सिर तक. He is very, very like me. The shadow is very much like him. So the shadow looks like the child from head to toe. Shadow बिल्कुल उसकी जैसी दिखती है from head to toe. And I see him moving before me when I jump into my bed. And whenever I jump into my bed, it also jumps with me. It also comes with me and it also jumps with me. And I see him moving before me. Him is the shadow. He says, and I see him and I see my shadow moving before me when I jump into bed. So when I jump into my bed, the shadow also moves with me. The shadow also jumps with me. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow. And what is the funniest thing about the shadow? The funniest thing about the shadow, which he thinks, is the way he likes to grow. जो shadow कैसे बढ़ती और घटती है वो बहुत funny है उसके बारे में. Not at all like proper children, which is always very slow. So the shadow does not grow like children. How do the children grow? How does a child grow? A child grows very slowly, right? When he is 2 years old, very he's just this much. When I was 3 years old, he also grows very, very, very slowly. But the shadow keeps changing his size throughout the day. The shadow की जो size है वो सुबह कुछ और होती है, शाम को कुछ और होती है. Okay, so unlike a child grows very slowly, but the shadow, it keeps changing its size throughout the day. So what does he say? Not at all like proper children, which is always very slow. So the children grow very slowly, but this shadow is not like normal children. It grows in a very peculiar way. It grows in a very abnormal way. For he sometimes shoots up taller like a Chinese rubber ball. कभी कभी जो shadow है, sometimes the shadow, it shoots up like a Chinese rubber ball. Chinese rubber ball जो होती है, जो बहुत ऊंचा ऊंचा उछलती है. So shadow sometimes it becomes larger like that. It becomes taller like that. So the shadow sometimes it becomes taller like a rubber ball. And sometimes he gets so little that there's none of him at all. And sometimes what happens to the shadow? Sometimes the shadow becomes too small that there is hardly any of it. कभी कभी इतनी छोटी हो जाती है कि बिल्कुल होती ही नहीं है, एकदम गायब ही हो जाती है. तो कभी कभी तो shadow it shoots up taller like a rubber ball. कभी कभी जैसे आपकी जो जंपिंग बॉल होती है वो बहुत ऊंचा ऊंचा उछलती है, तो शैडो कभी कभी उतनी ऊंची ऊंची हो जाती है. And sometimes it gets so little that there is none of him at all. और कभी इतनी छोटी हो जाती है कि बिल्कुल दिखाई ही नहीं देती, बिल्कुल गायब ही हो जाती है. So these all are some of the qualities of the shadow which the child explains from his angle, what he thinks of the shadow. Okay, so what are the qualities of the shadow? There's a shadow which goes here and there with me. So the shadow goes along with him. The shadow moves along with the child. Also, he is very, very like me from heels to the head. So the shadow also looks like him from head to toe, from heels to the head. So the shadow looks like the child only. First is the shadow keeps moving with him. It moves with him here and there. Second is the shadow looks like him, and also whenever he jumps into the bed, the shadow also jumps with him. The shadow also moves with him. And also, how does the shadow grow? It does not grow like children who grow very slowly. The children grow very slowly, but the shadow grows in a very abnormal way. Sometimes it becomes taller like a Chinese rubber ball, and sometimes it becomes so small that you cannot even see it. कभी कभी दिखाई ही नहीं देती है, कभी कभी बहुत ज्यादा ऊंची हो जाती है. So these were the qualities or features of a shadow which the child explains. These were the qualities which the child saw in the shadow कि उसकी shadow कैसी है और वो क्या क्या करती है. What goes around the child? What is the thing which goes around the child? The shadow of him. His shadow goes around with the child. What does the child find about the appearance of his shadow? What does the child find about the appearance of the shadow? What does the child think about the appearance of a shadow? How does the shadow appear? It appears just like him. It appears like him from heels to head, from head to toe. सर से लेके पैर तक उसकी जो shadow है वो उसकी जैसी दिखती है. Why does the shadow keep changing its size? Why do you think कि shadow जो है वो अपनी size change क्यों करती रहती है? Why do you think so? Because it changes its size because of the light it gets. जैसे light पड़ेगी, जितनी light पड़ेगी उस हिसाब से it keeps changing its size. Okay. So the shadow keeps changing its size according to the light. How does it sometimes shoot up like sometimes shadow जो है वो कभी कभी बहुत बड़ी कैसे हो जाती है, किसकी जैसी हो जाती है? Sometimes it shoots like a Chinese rubber ball. Okay, so sometimes it becomes so bigger, sometimes it's become so taller like a Chinese rubber ball. Okay, so this is your assignment Just a second. Yeah, this is your assignment number 2. Assignment number 2, in which you have to complete these 3 questions and you have to submit me on Scholars ERP. So there is a surprise for you all, because there's a surprise for all the students who have submitted their assignments. This assignments of chapter number what we had done earlier. These are the star students. This is a surprise for you all. These are the star students who have submitted their assignments, who have completed their assignments, who have worked so hard and submitted their assignments on Scholars ERP. I'm so proud of you children. I'm so proud that you have worked so much hard, that you have completed all your assignments and submitted to me on Scholars ERP. So it's Kartik Sodani from section A, Sanat Chipa from section A, Vaidik Kaushik from section A, Vedang Pathak from section A, Anusha Jain from section A, Garvit Sharma from section A, Adishri Rathi from section B, Nisha Mali from section B, Parth Sharma from section B, Saksha Maheshwari from section B, and Khush Kothari from section B. All you students, you have completed your assignments and submitted to me on Scholars ERP. I hope you all keep submitting your assignments, and all other students who have not completed their assignments, who have not submitted their assignments, please do submit your assignments on Scholars ERP. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for your assignments, and I'll be very pleased and I'll be very happy to put you in the list of star students. So these are the star students and you have to applaud for them. I'm very proud of these students who have submitted their assignments. Some students out of these, they have not completed their all assignments. So you all complete your assignments. And for now, for this chapter, you have to complete this assignment number 2. Okay. So that's all for today's lecture. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.